Need support with inflammation, congestion, or digestion? Stay tuned for this Ayurvedic Oils Turmeric Essential Oil Benefits video. And you might be surprised at how and why this is going to help. Today we're going to be answering a few questions. So one is, what is turmeric essential oil good for? Right, what is it and what is it good for? How do you take turmeric essential oil? And what blends well with turmeric essential oil? Because turmeric has a fairly unique, shall we say, flavor. It may not be the first thing you think of for perfume. But there's a few oils that blend well with this, both in the sense of aromatically to make it smell good and for your dosha. Right? So we're going to talk about which doshas turmeric helps and which ones need to kind of pay attention to this one or need to blend something else with it. So I'm Krista Strayer with Flourish Yoga, your wellness lifestyle coach using Ayurveda and essential oils. And I'm sharing some simple Ayurvedic tips today for healthy daily habits. So don't miss out on this brand new Ayurvedic Oils series. So click on the subscribe button so you can be notified each time an Ayurveda and essential oils video is released. We've got some good ones coming up. And I just love it. It's so fascinating to me how this ancient wisdom meets modern science and is being validated by modern science. So I'm going to be referencing today in our video the Ayurvedic dosha types, or what we call the doshas, right? And how to balance all three doshas using turmeric essential oil. So if you don't know your dosha, if you're new to this, click on the link in the description, and it's in the comments too, for the Flourish Dosha quiz. The link is easy to remember. It's simply flourishdoshaquiz.com. Dosha is D-O-S-H-A. Okay, and this free dosha quiz will give you yoga and Ayurveda insights for many different aspects of your wellness lifestyle. It's kind of the key to figuring this all out. And if you stay to the end today, I'm going to tell you how to access my brand new Ayurveda aromatherapy workshop for free. This is a brand new one coming hot off the press that you can access and get in on the details of that one. So I have been a yoga health coach for about 10 years now, specializing in Ayurveda and essential oils. And what I love about this combination between the Ayurveda, the essential oils, and the yoga and the mindfulness, we kind of throw that in, is it makes wellness just simple, right? It's amazing how simple wellness can be once you know this key and this key connection. And this is a quote from one of our students that everything just makes sense. Right? It's just amazing how everything just clicks together once you know this kind of key, basic, foundational information and habits, right? Coming into that. So let's dive in now to turmeric essential oil and the health benefits of turmeric. So the first step when on this is to know your nature. Right? Know where it comes from. So turmeric comes from the rhizome, or the root part of the plant. It's kind of like the tuber. And it is harvested, the doTERRA turmeric, is harvested in Nepal and India. Okay? So it comes from a pretty hot, dry place within that. And I love that in addition to the health benefits that we receive from turmeric, the farmers are also receiving fair compensation and the ability to support their families and the education for their families. And I also love that it's grown in a part of the world that creates an ideal chemistry for healing. That's super important as to where these essential oils, where these herbs and essential oils are grown, right? Let's geek out in essential oil chemistry to better understand how turmeric oil works. And just to clarify, when I look at the chemistry, I have access to the doTERRA turmeric oil. I don't have access to other brands. So it can be quite different from brand to brand. So if that's not the brand that you use, check your chemistry to verify these and to see what the health results are. And when we look at health results, again, we're looking at, and the recommendations on how to use it, that's going to depend on the brand that you use, because different brands will have different specifications and different ways that you can use it. Okay, so turmeric oil is primarily sesquiterpene chemical composition. Okay, that means it's a heavy molecule and that the scent will tend to stay around longer. So it's heavy in nature, tends to stay around longer. Typically, sesquiterpenes are cool in nature. Think like the pine trees and the cool aspect of that. Turmeric is a little bit different, partly because of where it's grown in the world. It has a more heating element to it, right? That's the nature of the molecule, which is good for us in some aspects of this. So the doTERRA some turmeric oil contains alpha-turmerone, beta-turmerone, and AR-turmerone. So 3 different ketones, which are really beneficial for digestion. Okay, so we're looking at that aspect of this as well. So remember, it's heavy, it's stabilizing in nature, it's heating, and it's dry. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple different diagrams on this, and I go into this specifics of how these diagrams work. One is the chemistry wheel, and the other one we're going to look at is just kind of the tastes, the 6 tastes. So I explain them both in the Ayurvedic aromatherapy workshop, so check that out from there. But I love these as just kind of a good visual and understanding, so we can kind of weave together this ancient wisdom and the modern science of this aspect. Okay, so if we look at the gunas, or the characteristics of the oil, turmeric is bitter, astringent, and pungent. Okay, so this is perhaps where we want to stop and take some notes, or have a pen and paper handy, because we're going to go into some details on this. So, and this is how to use turmeric essential oil both for your primary dosha and for the dosha season. So it affects all doshas depending on what season we're in. Okay, specifically turmeric is a good one for this. So when we look at this chart, bitter, astringent, and pungent are all Kapha balancing. They're all in yellow. Okay, so turmeric is one of the top herbs and essential oils for Kapha and Kapha season, which is spring. So one of the teachings that's always stood out for me, and this is from Dr. John Douillard, is to start taking turmeric daily as soon as the weather starts to turn. So as soon as we go from the cold, dry Vata winter season to the cool, moist Kapha season, we need to be taking your turmeric all the time. So the sooner the better. And why it is that turmeric is really helpful at cleaning out the clogs, right? So we want to clear out winter to make room for spring. It's kind of like this spring cleaning effect within our body. So think of it as like if you have your drains and they're kind of clogged full of stuff. We have a house full of long-haired girls. When those drains get clogged, it's not pleasant, right? And so think of turmeric as the unclogging. It's the Drano for your system. Right within that. And so if you don't get rid of your winter coat and clear out the closet, so to speak, then you're not going to be ready for that growth, the vitality, and the energy of spring. And when everything gets kind of backed up, this is when we start to get congestion and allergies and all these kind of symptomatic responses to spring, right? Seasonal responses, which can be totally we don't have to have those when we follow Ayurveda and the rules of Ayurveda. Okay, so basically, turmeric essential oil is super supportive to balance Kapha dosha and for everyone in Kapha season, which is spring. Okay, so how to balance Vata. So it's good. Terpenes in nature are very drying, right? And this is very Vata aggravating. So Vatas do not need any dryness in their life. They are already they've got dry skin and everything within that. And so to use turmeric oil for Vata balancing, you need to add essential oils or other oils that are wet but still warming in nature. So things like citronella, cardamom, and even ylang ylang will help to temper that down. So it's just something to watch out for. The dry herb actually can be more aggravating for Vata than the turmeric oil, right? Than the essential oil. So this is where it kind of comes in handy to have this opportunity to use that oil instead of the dry. So how to balance Pitta dosha with turmeric? So the bitter and the astringent tastes are very balancing for Pitta, okay? But you have to watch out that you don't pair other pungent oils or other heating oils along with your turmeric, because it's got enough of that composition in there already. And so turmeric oil is especially important for Ayurvedically to balance all the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha. So another turmeric oil benefit is that turmeric essential oil helps the absorption of curcumin. Okay, so this is one of the elements in the dry herb that is really helpful within us systemically is the word I'm looking for. So it amplifies the benefit when you can use the 2 of them together, and it increases the absorption or your body's ability to absorb the curcumin within it and make use of it. So we're going to see this in terms of the different body systems that turmeric supports. So what is turmeric essential oil good for? Let's look at the key health benefits of turmeric. So one, it's a natural tissue support. So Ayurvedic medicine texts even include ligament flexibility, athletic support, and injury support from the turmeric herb. Turmeric also preserves neurological tissue, which is our Vata support on that side. It provides support for the respiratory system, so Kapha imbalances. It increases our antioxidant support, which is cellular health, longevity, that's for everybody. And then cardiovascular support, which is a Pitta support system. So it's all three. It's really super helpful for all three, just as long as we manage it and balance it off within our body. So it is definitely one of the top Ayurvedic oils that we have access to. So how do you take turmeric essential oil? So turmeric is an edible plant, right? So if you know your turmeric oil is pure turmeric, then topically, internally, and aromatically are all safe forms for using turmeric. Internally, we look at this, and this is where things you have to be very mindful of how much you're taking. It is a very pure vital essence of the plant, so you don't need very much, right? But many of the health benefits of turmeric come from the internal use of it and supporting the systems within the body. So the question I often get asked is, so how many drops of turmeric oil should I take, right? And so typically I would recommend about 2 drops, 1 to 2 drops in a veggie capsule. Or you can add 1 to 2 drops to your favorite golden milk recipe. You can even, add it as a flavoring to dal or to a curry recipe. The caveat on that is that you're going to add it after the cooking is done. So after you take it off the heat, you add it in. Essential oils are volatile in nature, so you will lose some of that chemical composition if you boil it, right, or heat it too much, too high. Okay, so and to the caveat on the whole, like how much should I take, is if you have a day that you need extra support. So if I've got a day that I'm doing a lot of yoga, or I'm skiing, or I'm golfing, or things like that, then I might do twice. I do 2 doses, so 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, to help my system to recover faster and to give that additional support. Okay. So topically, you can apply turmeric oil to lotions, right? Lotions and different oils. It's especially good for skin, this one. And the oil actually is clear and not yellow like the powder. I tried to make it my daughter when she was back in her teens to use Ayurvedic face cream with yogurt and turmeric powder and things like that. It was kind of a no-go because it was turning her face yellow. It wasn't, or she was thinking it was going to turn her face yellow. I don't even know if I got to cut her to put it on it. Put it on her. But using the oil, you don't have that yellow aspect. You don't have that dye aspect. Turmeric is a dye as well, right? Okay, so when you're blending with other face oils for Vata, you want to choose moisturizing oils to go along with it, right? So something like citronella, rose is good for this one. Ylang could be in there. When you're blending this for Pitta, for a face oil, or for the topically, you want to use ones that are good for skin, or calming for the skin, or cooling for the skin, right? So that can be your lavenders, and something like that. Kaphas, whose skin tends to be more moist, you can use this one on its own, or you might have other things that you want to blend with it as well, just for other properties. Supporting muscles and joints is another key benefit of turmeric. So topically and internal both offer support for this. And so you can add it to a massage oil, like your Rheumatouch, to enhance that benefit on the joints and the ligaments, and anything else that you want to do that. So topically, it's a great support for that as well. Respiratory support, another great application, to dilute it with carrier oil and apply along the chest with any other respiratory support oils that you're using on that. Okay, aromatically. All right, so it's very effective for the nervous system support to use this aromatically. But what blends well with turmeric essential oil if you don't want to smell the turmeric, right? So the high sesquiterpene content that we talked about causes that smell to linger. In there it's a heavy, so when we blend it, we want to look at something to kind of lighten it up, because it's not what we typically think of as a perfume per se. But it does mix really well. It smells really good with cinnamon, ylang, jasmine, bergamot. Those are kind of like my top favorites with this. And those ones typically have skin benefits, so it kind of works well for aromatically and topically. So have something to mix it with, and it will smell amazing, because it will cause the whole smell to linger longer within the room as well. So you want to smell like a doll, not your doll, right? Kind of thing. So keep that one in mind. The emotional healing properties of turmeric. Okay, so turmeric is restorative, strengthening, and releasing. So you're going to use it to unblock and unclog old patterns and beliefs, just like your drains, right? It's also very strengthening and empowering. So think of it as a 3rd chakra oil. So it's great for digestion, but it's also really good for willpower and strength personal power and strength. So this was a lot of information today. Hopefully you got some good notes from this one, but I want you to post below if you have ever tried turmeric oil before and how you like to use it. And if you're new to turmeric essential oil, what's one Ayurvedic tip that you picked up on today that you're going to go forward? When we write it down, we tend to follow through on that a little bit more. At Flourish Yoga, we're all about making your wellness lifestyle super, super easy and simple. So if you'd like to tap into that, join me next week for our next Simple Wellness class. This is a live class that I do every week, and we can talk about your wellness journey and your challenges. I just love to connect and chat all things Ayurveda, essential oils, and wellness in general. So the link to that, to register for that, is in the description. And don't forget to take that dosha test right at flourishdoshaquiz.com. So with the test, you get recommendations on essential oils for your dosha along with yoga and Ayurvedic tips. And I promise to tell you how to get that new Ayurveda aromatherapy workshop for free. There is a link on that, and I've put together some kind of curated essential oil kits that are specific for each dosha. When you purchase a kit of oils, you get access to that aromatherapy workshop for free. That's going to tell you all about those chemistry if you like to geek out on that. It's also going to give you tips on how to use the oils for your dosha. Okay? And if you've enjoyed this and found it helpful, make sure to like the video. That tells me what to focus on for future videos and what will be helpful for you. And check out the playlist for essential oil meditations, yoga essential oil classes. We've got some Ayurvedic tips, healthy daily habits, all great things in there to amplify your wellness lifestyle. All right, namaste.